Good morning. Happy Friday. It is Friday, November 3rd. I did a short last night about Apple earnings. You can go and watch it. It was a cringe moment at the end. I'm trying to do less than a minute shorts. So every day I'm trying to post a short, just a minute. It's quick. It's TikTok style. The podcast will be debuting on TikTok probably in the next couple of weeks or so. So take a look out for that. If you want to get to any of our socials, the Facebook group, Instagram, X, or Twitter, it's like Vaz or Vase, whichever one you want to prefer. YouTube, anything like that, it's here at Linktree, linktr.ee/daily stock pick. That's where you can find all the specials, all the referrals, support the podcast, do whatever you need to do. But TikTok will be making its debut, but if you want to just take a look at them beforehand, you can watch the shorts right here on YouTube, youtube.com/daily-stock-pick. No S, Daily Stock Pick. And there's a bunch of shorts up there. You can let me know how you like those. I mean, listen, I asked my friends, I send these to my friends, and I said, how are they? And my friends are like, they're hysterical. And even one friend last night said, oh my God, you look so good in your podcast. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Do I look bad regularly? I mean, I'm on 1 gig AT&T service here. I joke about it all the time. Your boy's pretty. But you're not here for me. You're here for stocks. Okay, jobs report, 150K. Remember, September, we had like 300,000. So in October, we had 150,000. Jobs are slowing. What happened? Bond rates went down. What happened? Stocks soared. Remember, the 150K, it was revised, and September, by the way, was revised down. There is 30K in there for the UAW and 5K for the actor strike. So you just want to take a look here. Seeking Alpha has a good article here. I'll include this in the newsletter. October jobs growth slowed. The bond rates, again, you want to watch the bond rates. The bond rates is what's going to drive the stock market. Bond rates historically have not been this crazy. Bond rates right now are trading kind of like a penny stock. You want to be very careful about bond stuff because we're heading into a situation right now. I don't think you should worry about bonds. They're on their way down. If they spike up to 5%, I think you're just in a trading range. We're looking at SPY on the screen right now. 419 was where the algorithm got you in. I said, hey, there's a button hook here. We want to take a look at this because this was last week. Started off with some really good tech news and some really good earnings, and things got a little tight, and you wanted to be a little bit careful. And yeah, we were all worried. That's when you wanted to start buying. That's when I bought Amazon. That's when I bought a little more Google. That's when I bought a little more Bank of America. It's when I bought, TQQQ earlier this week. I bought IONQ. I bought more SMCI as it dipped down. But we'll get into that. The unemployment rate is at 3.9. That went up from 3.8. Job market turned down, which is it's good news. Again, bad news is that the job market turned down. Bad news is that some people may be out of work. Good news is the stock market likes that. You're squelching demand. Jay Powell is squelching demand. So if you want to, you can read that article that I had. Another good article that I just saw on is 4 stocks to watch on Friday: Apple, Coinbase, and more. We're going to get into all these stocks in a little bit. Paramount Global released earnings, Expedia released earnings, Coinbase released earnings, Sam Bankman-Fried, Mr. GQ himself, if you're watching the court reporters, he was found guilty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together the 2 weeks of earnings that we just had. And we had a really good, if you traded on the stocks that I put out there for earnings, you had a really good 2 weeks of trading. And I got a message last night from an OG who said, hey, I haven't traded for the whole summer, but I tuned into you and I've done some options trading. And it's going really well based on your earnings stuff. So I love hearing that stuff. There were 2 stocks last night. SMCI reported earnings. I don't agree with the way the stock sold off, and you can see some people agree with me. I think that we're going back up to 300. This is similar to Amazon. Remember, for the longtime listeners, you'll know I said Amazon doesn't have a demand problem. They have a cost problem. And as they started to cut costs, you saw profits rise. You saw the stock price rise. SMCI is the same thing. They have a supply problem right now where NVIDIA and AMD and the chip company can't deliver them fast enough to them. You know what I say with that? Let's look at SMCI before I look at NVIDIA. SMCI is in our core portfolio. I like this to fill this gap. I've been telling you the previous earnings back in August. This gap right here where you gap down from 350 down to 300. That will be filled at some point in time. This is a company that you need it if you're buying NVIDIA chips. They're not spending the NVIDIA chips. They're paying up for NVIDIA chips. Do you think these people have a problem paying SMCI to set up the rigs? No, but they need it in order to do it. So you got this buy-in at 260. The stock right now is trading at 246. I think you're fine. Wait for the confirmation. In pre-market, you're at 247. You might actually have confirmation. I'd probably wait till Monday to buy this one. But if you see this continue up today, take advantage of it. Buy it. I think it's a solid stock. The other one that I think you should look at is ELF. And ELF Beauty. I'm in Ulta. I'm going to get out of Ulta. Ulta's just a losing one. I think ELF has the possibility of turning around. That's what this guy says in this article as well. You can read more about it. If we go over and we look at ELF, the ELF chart, ELF yesterday, this morning candle right here yesterday, that's a 9.66% candle from 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. 9.66. This is absolutely crazy that you could have traded this. It opened at 105. It closed at 95. The low, 90. The high, 109. Right now you're trading at 98. In pre-markets at 100. Get it under 100. Get it under 100. I think you're fine in this one. Understand it might not turn around. You might go back down to 90. Add in sporadically. You've got this gap here that goes down to 86. It hasn't been filled. You filled it way down to 88. But I think the growth in this company is solid. They did announce earnings. There's nothing sketchy about it. I like it. I think they're beating Ulta to the punch. Now we can talk about some of these earnings. Paramount Global, like I said, they beat. It was up 10%. Right now it's up 5%. It's at $12. I don't like this stock. They said the direct to consumer was much less than expected. I just think, it's going to get these pops. But this is a stock that, like I've said, it's going down. If you want a streaming service, it's not going down? Netflix. Netflix is making money. They've got this gap up here at 450. I think you fill that one. On this run, you've got confirmation. Paramount Global, they ain't making money. Don't bother with them. Expedia. Expedia is one that they announced they beat up by 5% on the news. Once they had they announced that there's a $5 billion buyback. And you'll see a common theme. There's a couple of them that announced huge buybacks. This one announced a $5 billion buyback. It's up 11%. It's at 105. Expedia is a travel company. If you guys know, travel's being written up. Their margins are huge. 112 to 117 is the gap. You're trading right now at 105. I'd like you to get it under 100. I think at some point in time you will be able to get it under 100 before it fills this. If you open up at 105, that's all the way up here. So you have confirmation. You will have a huge gap. Remember this 200-day just started turning negative. So be careful about that one. Oppositely, Booking Holdings did not announce a buyback. Not sure why, but they're down 5%. The difference is Expedia announced a buyback. Booking Holdings didn't. Now, one that I've brought up in the past that here's the thing. Fortinet, absolute disaster of a company right now. If you're in this one, if I got you in, I apologize. Get out. If you got into this one, I don't hold this one. I said I thought that it was going to fill this gap on the past earnings. Remember, if I got you in at 59 and you got to 65, probably should have sold once you lost the confirmation. Nice 2% gain. Nothing crazy. But once you lose the confirmation, you've got to get out on a trade. This gap here, I think it gets filled. It's just not going to get filled anytime soon. This is a cybersecurity company. They announced that their earnings were weak. Their guidance going forward, just horrible guidance, no growth. And so it was brought down by 22%. You're trading right now at 44. That brings you below where this chart goes. And it brings you, we can look at this if we just go back to a weekly, because there's no reason to get into this one right now. But if you go back to a weekly and you're trading at 44, that's back where you were at the beginning of this year. The beginning of this run started at about $48. Here, January 2nd, you opened the week at 49. Right now, you're trading at 44. You've made an entire 1-year journey back. So I think the support level is probably 48. So your 200-day on the weekly now turns to resistance. So be careful with that one. That one's crazy. Now, another one, Square. We're in PayPal. Probably should be in Square. Square is up 16%. Square, they beat up 15%. They announced a billion, I think it's billions of dollars of buyback. I'm not sure the amount, but they're going to do it in 2020. They announced a rule of 40 will be in 2026. I forget exactly what that's about, but I'll look it up and I'll post an article on it. But yeah, that one, crazy good quarter. PayPal is up, kind of in line with it. It's not up as much. Their earnings were just kind of it was boring. You're up 0.56%. You do have confirmation in PayPal. If you got in at 51, that's great. Now, some of you degenerates love Carvana. Carvana posted they were off from what analysts said they would make. They were up 5%. They're now down 3%. They outlined an uncertain outlook. I mean, listen, this is a company that was going bankrupt. It's probably going back down to 7. They did announce that they were making a ton of money off of every car that they do sell. DraftKings up 10%. It's now up only 3%. It's over 30. If you bought it under 30, you can sell it over 30 and then buy it back under 30 again. This one's using the 200-day right. The $30 is going to cover this first gap. You're getting back with multiple tops here. I think the top is 31. The strong earnings, though. Understand, DraftKings, strong company. They will probably be profitable in the next quarter. You want to be in this when they announce that they will be when they announce they're profitable. You want to be in this stock. One that I said that they had some problems. They beat with a loss. It was smaller than expected loss. They expect Q4 to be flat. And so Coinbase was really down in the pre-market. It's probably going to recover. I mean, it's flat now. So, yeah, Coinbase. Okay, sorry, dog had to go out. And my 3 cups of water have caught up to me. So Coinbase, yeah, I'd be a little bit careful of this one. You know which one I really like in the crypto space? I like Mara. Mara is down 4% in pre-market. I like this one to get, but the support is 843. So right now it's trading at 940. I would wait for it to probably get down to about the $8 handle. And I think you'll be solid in that one. I like Mara instead of Coin. Mara's earnings are coming up next week, November 8th. I think it's let's just say post-market, yeah. One that I really like, and I've been telling you guys, get in, PXD. I don't think you get into it now. I think you can buy it because you'll get the equivalent of about $260 of Exxon stock, probably in January, but Chuck Schumer is calling for a review of this one. It very well likely will go through because it will bring gas prices down for most people. With Exxon in particular, this consolidation of oil companies is good for the consumer. It makes them a little bit more strong, but whatever. But they did announce a dividend. We talked about it earlier. PXD is one of my favorite plays. They announced a $3.20 dividend. The last quarter, it was $1.84, almost double the dividend. This will be payable for shareholders' record of, so the ex-dividend date is November 29th. You have to hold this by November 29th. If this one continues to go down, you want to take that dividend and you want to sell it, go ahead. I think that people will be exiting this one once that dividend is paid. I do think that, if you want to trim up here at 250, if it gets up to the 250 mark again, I think that's a good area to trim. Right now it's trading at 243. Let's talk about the big one. It's Apple. I did a short, like I said last night. I said if this one holds 170 into the open today, it opened up at 174. So you have confirmation of a rally. Everything, Apple, there was nothing crazy about Apple. They beat on the top and the bottom, everything expected, nothing shocking. Services weak by a large margin, a record with iPhone sales as well. It just all was solid. The only thing that wasn't solid was Mac business, down 34%. This was the reason they had that event on Monday. They knew Mac sales were going to be weak. But Tim Cook said he's optimistic about the holiday season and the upgrades for the Mac with the M3 chips. Like I said, we seem to have held the 170. In my mind, this is the key. The market's going to continue going up. China wasn't a problem. iPhone, not a problem. They sold out. In fact, they said they will probably catch up to demand sometime in the fourth quarter. Services continue to grow. One thing that the CFO did say, and this is what brought the stock down in post-market, the CFO said iPad and wearables revenue will decline year over year in the fourth quarter. And that's just because last year it was pretty strong. It was pretty strong. So if you want to read more about Apple's quarter, there's going to be an article in the newsletter. So I'll put it in there. This just outlines everything that you're going to need to know. In my mind, and what you're all interested in, am I trimming Apple? Nope. You got confirmation. I think you at least hit up to this 181 level in this current run because there was nothing wrong with this quarter. Absolutely nothing wrong with this quarter. 181, I think you're fine. If we go over FinViz and we look at Apple, you're going to see probably over the next week, you're going to see a bunch of people take their price target up. October 31st, Jefferies reiterated. They brought their price target from 220 to 195. Morgan Stanley brought their price target from 215 to 210. It's the consumer is weakening. This is not something that Apple is immune to, but I just don't see where Vision Pro, where improvements in Apple CarPlay and potentially a car, where iPhones are going anywhere, where, all of this stuff. I just think Apple is fine. It's my savings account. I'm not getting out of it. I'm not trimming it. I did trim some up here in the 190s. I mean, when it got up here and it had that historic run, just look at this run. I mean, it was from March, I think it was. Yeah. We go back to January. You were at 120 in January, and you ran all the way up, almost straight up. You had this one little dip in February, but you went almost straight up to 200, almost at 200. How could you not trim before you got to 200? Just solid company, solid earnings. There was a post, and I will post this, and let's just play the video for you because Elon posted this one. There is nothing to worry about in Tesla. Just ironically, I know I said short Tesla over the last, I think it was earlier this week, TSLQ. There is absolutely nothing to worry about with Tesla. In fact, Alex here, here's Jim Cramer. Jim Cramer said this, and if you know, we're always inverse Jim Cramer.
But then there was also this Tesla, this Cybertruck, $100,000 for a Cybertruck that I'm
not going to play a lot of it. You can go. I'll put the link in for it. He is saying that maybe Tesla sells 50,000 Cybertrucks. No way. Elon replied, "This is a good omen. Inverse Kramer never fails." He's absolutely right. They have, it was the fastest growing. This will be the problem they will have is producing this vehicle. And you can see when I said short Tesla, do it at your own detriment. I do think that we're probably looking at 150 at some point in time in Tesla, but they continue to hit that oversold and just bounce off it. And the $200 mark has been a place where they've loved to hang. Maybe we get up to fill this gap at 240. Maybe you're at 220 right now. But with Jim Cramer thinks the Cybertruck will fail. And by the way, during this entire exchange on CNBC, the dude has a picture of Jim Farley up over his right shoulder. He says, "Hey, I've got a Ranger. I don't want the Cybertruck." Well, douchebag, the Cybertruck isn't. It's not for you. Douche. What a freaking boom. I can't see how the Cybertruck is going to make. Cybertruck will make money. By far, the tech in a Cybertruck. The Cybertruck is going to be more luxurious than the Ford F1 Lightning, which is plastic at this point. Yeah. I mean, they haven't announced a price. So, yeah. I'm finding Seeking Alpha kind of interesting with their quant stuff, and I'll include this in the newsletter. But Shopify, their quant ratings went from strong buy to hold. Uber, their quant rating went from strong buy to hold. Palantir, their quant rating went from strong buy to hold. Now, what's interesting is the quant ratings all seem to be with stocks that run up. And when they move to hold, it seems like they pull back a little bit. So I'd be keeping an eye on those three. Now, Palantir, up 3%. It's at 18. Remember when I said it's going to 20? That's one. Shopify, I think it's going back to 60. This one, up 1% at 60. I think you're fine buying it here. What was the other one? The other one was SMCI. We went over SMCI. SMCI, I think it's going to cover that thing. But I'm finding the quant ratings get hit and get kind of moved down a little bit when you see a little pullback. So I don't know their algorithm trading with quant, but I do think it's interesting. I'm finding value in that one. SMCI up 4%. I mean, Roblox is up another 2%. Jesus. Simon Property Group, by the way, remember when I said, hey, probably want to buy this one at 109, 106 right before earnings? You're at 119, 118.50. Let's not exaggerate. 118.50. Remember when Uber was 41 just a couple of days ago down here? Yeah. We're in the middle of a rally. Understand we're in the middle of a rally. It's strong. Understand too, we have a war in Israel. We have a lot of political things going on that could derail this over the weekend. Do I think you should buy TQQQ today? No. In fact, I might get out of TQQQ. Again, it's a small buy. I think it was like 10 shares or something. It wasn't huge. But it's dangerous to hold those things over the weekend. They're trades. They're absolutely trades. So let's look at Scott on YouTube. Hey, buddy, take a look at Wing, up 12% since I bought it in September. Several analysts have raised the target price. Congrats to you on Palantir and Shop. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Here's Wing. I mean, they just announced this is Wingstop. I don't, and how do I say this politely? I don't enjoy wings. Yeah, when I go to hot and spicy places with my friends, the joke that I got the dad jokes left and right, But I say, hey, white boy spicy, can you just make it white boy spicy? Because I can't stand spicy. And in fact, wings, I know Wingstop has a fantastic honey mustard sauce that I really like. But I can't tell you, I just won't order from Wings. But doesn't this has been a tremendous stock. Like you said, Scott, September 161, and it got you out with a 7% gain. Now it got you in here and then got you out with a 4% loss. But if you bought at 184, you're back in, you're 200. Solid company here. If you want to try it before you actually buy the stock, go out and try it. The average target price, 213. You're trading at 138. They make $68 million in income. The problem that you have is the PE. This is a company that's been growing. I don't know much about it, but I know they've been growing. The analysts have been raising their target. It's about $200. If you're at 188, yeah, you're trading at 200. I would start trimming. Honestly, I would start trimming. That PE would get me scared. Let's see what the 52-week range is. Yeah, the high is 223. I'd start trimming it. If this is a trade for you, I would absolutely start trimming it. That would be my thing, Scott. I know it probably has more to run, but I've learned, and I shouldn't say this, I've learned with Target, I've learned with Etsy, I've learned with PayPal, I've learned with Square, I've learned with all that. When you have a profit and it gets to all-time highs and things of that, you want to trim. You want to trim. And this one right here, 223, was just back in May, and we've come down that way. I think you probably get back to 220 at some point in time, but at 200, you've just crossed it. If you close at 200 today, I think you have solid understanding that you have broken that 2 handle. But if you reject off the 200 and close below 190, I think that's just clear that, hey, it's going to take that handle and just go down. Now, Sheila's been active on Spotify. PKST. This is one that she wants me to look at. And I did pre-look at this one. And it's a REIT. It's, you guys know I'm not a huge fan. This is Peakstone Realty Trust. This has been in a downward spiral since June. In June, you were at 36. It's been an absolute downward spiral. Lower lows, lower highs. I mean, it's just, there is nothing to like about this one right here. If we go over here to FinViz and we look at PKST and you look, they're losing $750 million. Year to date, it's up 11%. I think you're going back down to where you opened up at 8. I seem to think that's the case. Didn't find much about this one, but the two analysts that were back in June, they had $27 and $24 rates on this one. But if you go back to June, that was the peak. That was when you ran all the way up to 35. See this one? I mean, in May, if you had bought in May at 25 and you got out at 36, fantastic. Do I expect it to bounce back up? Probably not. It's paying a 4% dividend, but they're losing money. Are they going to be able to hold that dividend? You can read more about it on FinViz. But even if I go over to PKST here, let's go to PKST on Seeking Alpha, and let's see what they say about this one. We're going to go PKST. Let's see if they cover it. I don't think anybody will cover it. And I don't know that they'll have a quant rating. Nah. Look, strong sell, sell. Get out. Get out, Sheila. Just get out. High risk of performing again. Look, there is nothing good in this stock. Absolutely nothing good. So check it out. Read up on it if you'd like, but nothing good. Shane wants me to look at PayPal. I am holding PayPal, and I'm probably holding it to my detriment. I've been holding for a while here. It's not performing the way that Square did. Square announced a huge buyback, positive things to say. It's just not going well for PayPal. I probably will get out of this one. But right now it's got confirmation. I don't want to get out. It's solidly in an upward trend. So I just don't want to get out too early. But the RSI is already at 62. So I don't expect this one to perform badly. I just expect it to probably peter out once it fills this gap at 60. The next gap here at 67 and 68, you're going to have to, the new CEO is going to have to change the margins for that to perform. If you want to see anything about PayPal, Stock Market Nerd, stockmarketnerd.com, sign up for his newsletter. Bradley does a fantastic Shopify and Palantir. Here, PayPal. This one right here. He goes over all of the PayPal stuff. And when he goes to his conclusions, he goes over the guidance, he goes everything. Just read up on it. My take, the quarter was what I expected. The turnaround was never going to start today. I've said this many times with Chris. Only a few weeks into his tenure, I would be giving him a year to see how effectively he can turn the ride around. I wholeheartedly agree with his assessment of PayPal. The asset base, brand trust, and scale are all world-class. The execution has left much to be desired. He has the background and energy to make this work. Let's see what he can do. For now, I will reserve judgment and continue sitting on the shares. I don't think that's the strategy that I'm taking. I may trim it. I may get rid of it just because I want the capital somewhere else to grow. I don't want my capital sitting around for a year in a stock that could go down. And I caveat that, a stock that could go down. So I'll keep my eye on it. Okay, sorry. 3 glasses of water before the podcast. I've halted it a couple of times. But PayPal, again, read Stock Market Nerd, Bradley Ferguson's. He subscribe to his newsletter, stockmarketnerd.com. I mean, he's just phenomenal. Now, I said it early in the week. One of the things that the reasons that I bought TQQQ and I bought some Amazon and I bought other stuff, I'm getting a lot of scans. When I say scans, understand this is the way you use my podcast to try and make money, to understand exactly what you want. If you have TrendSpider, you can do these scans yourself. But when I say scan, it is an entry in the algorithm that I have. So the stocks are showing a bullish sign. That's when you just scroll to the end of any newsletter, any of my newsletters, yesterday's newsletter. And if you scroll down, and if you want to read the newsletter, you can read the newsletter. You can read all the articles. You can look at the details of it. But the one thing you should absolutely do is scroll down to the bottom where it says scans. And when you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see all of these stocks. You'll see some notes. You'll see some categories like covered call ETFs and levered ETFs, Vanguard ETFs. You'll see some different things. But the key point is that all of these stocks that are in that daily email are showing bullish signs. And so when I see a ton of stocks like this that are bullish, I say to myself, you know what? We're under the 200-day in some major stocks. Like you go over here to Lilly. Lilly today, 580. This is the first stock that I have on the scan list today. Lilly, $580. It is expensive. This is, I told you I like Amgen a little bit better. But Lilly, you can't argue with their performance. They just announced earnings. The Amgen, the PE is 18. The forward PE is 13. With Lilly, the PE is 106. The forward PE is 46. It's crazy. But the weight loss drug that they have is out on the market. It is stellar, top in class. They had some write-downs, that $2.11 on the last earnings and the 10 cents on this earnings. Don't worry about it. It does get expensive up here. I'd like to see it around this gap here at closer to 500. I just don't know if it'll get down there. But understand, this is how you make money with my podcast. Look at these stocks. And if you want to do this yourself, again, TrendSpider is having their Black Friday sale. Black Friday sale on TrendSpider. The elite level is what you need. It's $296 if you skip the 7-day trial. If you listen to my podcast, you know what TrendSpider can do. You know the absolute greatness of TrendSpider that I have with my algorithm, the system that I use. If you want the Elite Plus, it's $388. So you save up to 82%. This only has 2 more days on it. So understand, after 2 days, this goes away. If you miss the $250 one, take advantage of the $296. If you want to try it free for 7 days, it's $351. Now, what's great about this sale is if you just want to go monthly, you're getting half price per month. So it per month, it's $39.50 from 79. So you can cancel at any time. Now, when you resubscribe, it'll go back up to 79 if you do unsubscribe. So you do got to keep it in order to keep the $39 per month. But this is what's really nice is that in this sale, they offered a monthly option with a significant discount, 65%. Yearly, they offered with a 7-day free trial. Oh, and the monthly, you do get a 7-day free trial as well. But yearly, with a 7-day free trial, it's $351. It's 77% off. And yearly, if you just prepay, it is 82% off. So, but you do want that elite level, and I should say it's all up to the percentage off because I think that's on this this big one. And early bird bonus, you get to start with if you want to trade futures, CME futures. This is a $90 value where you get the freebie. I don't take advantage of half of what TrendSpider has. But again, in the newsletter, you just go down to the bottom there and look at the scans. And that's how you make money with the podcast. If we go back here, let's just go back. We're going to go back to the beginning of October. I'm going to go back to October 1st. Well, let's go 9/29. October is the best seasonal month. Let's go 10/2. Huge list of bullish stock. There was a huge list of bullish stocks. That told me, hey, we might be heading into this. In the middle, like around 10/9, this is another war. And when you go down to scans here, there were a couple of days where I really had to find stocks to scan. That's not a long list for me. The past week has had a long list. It's been huge. So understand, sign up for the newsletter, take a look at that. And if you sign up for TrendSpider, use that list or just you can scan yourself. But Lily's the first one. The second one that came in with a cross up, with an entry, Exxon. Exxon energy starting to turn. You'll see we have a cross up on XLE as well, the energy sector. 108.45. 108.45, you're trading at 108.42. I think anything under 110 on this one, I think you're going to 120. So I think you're fine. Another one that we just got a cross up on, that we got an entry. Google, it's at 129.80. Get it under 130. You're fine. It's going to start filling this gap back up to 140. Add in. Don't load up on it because if we have another war situation over the weekend, this may come back down to 125, 122. But you've put in a good solid base there at 120. Add it under 130, you'll be fine. Taiwan Semi. If you want to know that NVIDIA and all of these guys, AMD came out with a great quarter. Look at AMD stock. I mean, we'll look at that in a little bit. TSM, $90.37. You're at 91. They announced earnings. They announced that they were seeing some production issues. So they dipped from 92 down to 85. You're going to test this 200-day right now, and it's going back up to 94. Right now, you're at 91. I think you'll break through that. I think it'll be fine. I think you get back up to the 100s. I think you can make nice 5-6% on this one. But Taiwan Semi, probably a long one. And like I said, AMD, look at this quarter. I mean, AMD right here, you got in at 95. You're at 110 right now. It's a huge move from 98 to 110 in just a couple of days. The first period was 8.2% when it opened up at 98.58. The low was 98.50. The high was 106.95. That's the morning after earnings. Solid company. But Taiwan Semi makes all of these chips. We talked about NVIDIA. NVIDIA is up 1%. SMCI, by the way, is up 5% at 260. Get that one. NVIDIA, I think, is heading back up to 500 when they report earnings. I think they're going to have another solid quarter. AMD had a solid quarter. I think NVIDIA is going to have another solid quarter, November 21st, post-market. Another energy stock that had a cross up and the scan, Oxy. Oxy, I say it, buy it under 60. I probably should move it to 65. Because look at that yellow line at 63. 63.28, you're trading at 63.23. I hold this one. Probably should be trading it. But yeah, I hold it. Square or block, whichever one, Voss, vase, tomato, whatever you want to say. This one has a huge gap. I'd be a little bit nervous buying it up here. It's up 14% in the pre-market. It opened up at $50.80. The high it went to was $52.13. Right now it's trading at $49.89. I would probably wait for a $45 handle. Any reaction in the market is an overreaction, but they posted solid earnings, solid guidance. So that's one that got a good one. Caterpillar has been beaten down. They didn't have a great quarter. They noted some weakness, so it came down. It's filled the gap up. Remember, it closed here at 241. It opened up the next day at 227. You've closed the gap. It got a cross up here at 239. I think you come back up. The problem is this is going to probably be a little bit of a down thing because you had the death cross here. And the death cross is usually pretty good at keeping it down. But you have that button hook on the 9-day. You have confirmation. If we are heading into a good, solid quarter, I think this one is a good add. I currently own this one. I've added to it. I probably should be trimming it just based on this weekly one because when you get up here to the 287, but here you got higher highs in May of 2 years ago. You got higher highs here in May of last year. You got higher highs in January of this year. You have higher highs in August of this year. So I think you're on your way back. I just think that maybe we see some downturn on that one. Nike. This is a secondary cross up. So remember, my algorithm is based on a MACD. It's a 105. 105 right now. You're trading at 106. This one easily going to 110. Nice 4 or 5% gain if you'd like it. Easily going to 110. They reported earnings. There's nothing coming up until December. So I like that one. Lockheed Martin, LMT. We're in a war. This is an industrial. I think this one, it crashed down here when they had some earning. They announced something to 402. You're at 453. You just blew past the 200-day on this one. It's an industrial. Again, with a war, I think these guys are perfectly fine. The CEO was on CNBC. I remember him talking about how they create war machines and horrible what's going on in the Middle East. And you saw drool coming out of his mouth while he's saying that. But Lockheed Martin, if you're into that, there are a bunch of energy names. I will go over them right now. COP, ConocoPhillips, Chord Energy, CHRD, Shell, Oxy, XLE, OIH, which is the oil drillers, SLB, which is Schlumberger, XOM, ARLP, and ET. ET Energy Transfer. This is the one where the CEO, I don't want CT, I want ET. This is the one where the CEO is buying a ton of stock around 13. And this is where it's kind of holding. 1362 is the buy, 1355. If you go over here to FinViz and you just type in ET, you'll see there's a bunch of buys from this dude, all at like 11, 12, 13. He's buying. His last buy was September 5th. I mean, that's probably hundreds of millions of dollars, at least 100 million, I would say, at least 100 million that he's put into this company. Here's the great thing is you're getting a 9% dividend yield. I mean, let's go over to Seeking Alpha and see how ET, Energy Transfer, lists. Rating summary, buy. Wall Street, buy. Quant says hold. But look at all these. Hold, buy. There's one hold. But they're buy. Look at that chart. If you look at the financials on this, the PE is 12, the forward PE is 9. It's up 14%, but you're getting a 9% dividend. So ET is a good one. Okay. Anything that I will do a weekend newsletter again. I will do a 2-week update starting Monday of all of the earnings that we saw that I played with some charts. Maybe I'll include it this weekend, the paid newsletter. All the charts of the paid stuff of the stocks. God, Starbucks at 102. Solid earnings. I said buy that one under 100. I own a bunch, so I think it's my parents. But yeah, if you want TrendSpider, we went over the Black Friday sale. Seeking Alpha, $50 off. You can click on this link. You don't have to sign up for the $50 off. you can use Seeking Alpha for free. Plenty of portions in Seeking Alpha are fantastic. The free version, it's kind of like FinViz. It's FinViz on steroids, I think. I really like Seeking Alpha, and you guys know I used it even before I got the premium. But it's $189 for a year. I absolutely think you should get it. Think about it for holiday times. If you're making your wish list for Christmas, I think the two things that you want to look at, if you listen to this podcast, it's TrendSpider and Seeking Alpha. Say you have a $500 gift budget with your wife, your significant other, whatever. Maybe get both of these for Christmas. Say, hey, I want to grow our future. I want to learn about stocks. I want to trade. I want to understand a little bit more. Yeah, get these too. I think both of these are great Christmas presents. If you want to join me on Webull, I put $1,000 into Webull in the beginning of the year. I'm at $2,410 right now, $2,410. So I'll be donating, and anything over $1,000, I'll be donating to a charity of my choice, just on that one. But I'm trading. This is where I own TQQ. Oh, I bought IONQ yesterday, and by the way, IONQ, I'm up 7% on IONQ on my buy yesterday. Great buy. So Visible, we talked about cell phone plan. If you're paying anything more than $25 a month for your cell phone, save money. I mean, in these times where the consumer, you guys are just going down in money, save your money. Maybe what you do, say you're spending, let's say $50 a month on your cell phone service, and you get Visible for $25. What's 25 times? Let's see. What's 25 times 12?
It's 300.
300. You just paid for TrendSpider. I mean, cut your cost. You paid for TrendSpider. Easy as that. Get TrendSpider, get Visible. You can get both, and boom, you got yourself a free year of TrendSpider. So that's what I would say there. If you're ordering a Tesla, go down there. If you have AT&T fiber at your house, again, it's Linktree. Linktree has everything. Support the podcast, linktrs.ee/dailystockpick. I am going to do the newsletter. I'm going to do the video. Remember, on YouTube, I'm doing the shorts. So share the shorts with your friends. They're kind of fun. They kind of focus on a little bit of stock for the first 10, 15 seconds. Then a nice little funny joke. It's more TikTok style. So if TikTok is your thing, then you can watch these and enjoy them. Again, it's youtube.com/@dailystockpick, and you just go over here to short. And there's only like 5 so far. I'm gonna bank about 20, maybe 30 of them, and then I'll join TikTok. And we'll enjoy some TikTok together. So okay, take care. Bye-bye.
The trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss